Alright, we're back to continue our recording. We're doing the code section now, as you can see. So, I haven't completely done the changes from the other day that we were working on, the adding the cargo in and changing how those things work. Actually, what I'm going to do is we're going to disconnect my keyboard here. Probably should have done that first. Get rid of this thing out of here so you got more room to work with. I can put my microphone over on the left side here. It's just laying here appropriately. Alright, that should do. Alright, let's go ahead and disconnect this USB cable as well. Throw that somewhere. And I'll bring you over this way. Put you on the left side here, or right side. Back where you're used to being. And also over here where my computer's the loudest. That over there. Let's see, this is not empty. Let's come over here. This is empty, so I'll put that back here. First I can go in there. I'll just take that and put this down here. Just doing a little bit of moving around of stuff. Oh wow, I got an unopened can of Dr. Pepper over here. Cool. I didn't even know it was over there. Alright. So I got 3 cans. Probably have to go down for more before too long here. Start of an all-nighter. I usually drink between 5 and 7 cans of soda between the beginning of an all-nighter and the middle of it. And I find that level of caffeine helps keep you awake. Let's go and get some more ice, I think. Whoops. Keyboards and soda do not mix. Thankfully I didn't spill it on the keyboard. Close though. Spill it on my desk here. Just a little bit. I guess it's better than it getting shot at the nose all over the place. That has happened to me before. I've actually made that happen before. That's when it was, I think it was back in high school. During lunch, I was doing a fat bastard impression from Austin Powers 2, and made my friend shoot milk out of his nose all over his lunch. That's hilarious. Anyway, so as you remember, or if you remember, don't remember, I'll refresh you. Last night, I decided to alter quite a damn lot by adding in the storage, as you say, system to the ships, and altering how things kind of worked. Added weights to items and whatnot. Well, what you haven't seen was what I was doing today, which was just, I was going through working on things, and I realized that certain things didn't have to be done. One of the things that I mentioned during the last videos we did for the coding was that I was going to take out the slots for, the slot requirements for station the station inventory, which I've done now. But now what I've had to do is I've had to gone through and take all that out, and I'm having to account now for station size, or not station size, the actual size being taken up, space being taken up in the station inventory, or other places where I hadn't done it yet, and also taking that into consideration and places in the code that I have not yet gotten to changing things around it. To that end, I also removed the past, the saved and passed to, when loading, values, variables, and table entries for table fields for current use space. And so how that's going to be calculated is it's going to be calculated every time you call for the space. And it'll just take the items from the inventories, either station or ship, and through a loop add all the item sizes times the number of items together, and you'll get the current size that way. And so you'll always have an up-to-date version of whatever it's called. Another thing that I did was, during mining for the ship, and I think we might have done it elsewhere, but I'll have to check. Station... Was it in station or was it in game? It might have been in game. Let's see. So many places that were changed to try to keep track of everything that was changed. So it was SS item, I believe. Station store item was the one I was working in for the most part. This one, yeah. So no, I didn't do it here because this needed to be done. But over in ship, since we're going to have mining ships, I had to consider the fact that we were going to be mining in some instances, and that's how stuff is going to be added to the ship cargo. And not necessarily because we're taking things from a wreck or just whatever, you know, putting stuff into the ship cargo hold. So what I did was I just basically ripped off Eve, how Eve handles it, and what happens is, if I can find the code, here we go. If you're mining, and you'll know the code will know if you're mining because we'll send the mining flag as bool here. So if this bool is true, if mining is true, you'll enter this here, which will essentially say, okay, if you have if your total max space. If your max space is less than your total space coming in, or rather, if the... Alright, there's a little bit of a logic error there. We need to also add SMC space to that as well. Because this is going to be the... It's going to be... We're asking as if this, added to this, is going to be larger than what this is, so... No, that doesn't make sense either. Let's see, temp space. So we want the current used space, which is what we get here. Yeah, no, here, yes. Temp space is, the current used space, so current used space. And this is the space taken up by item, by single item. So essentially what we're saying here is the current space plus the space taken up by one item times the number of items. If that is less than, or rather greater than, your maximum cargo hold space, we go through and say, okay, while this is while we're doing the while here. So what we're doing is we go through and say, okay, we're going to take off 1 from the item amount until this is no longer true. So, and then that gets added to lost items. So, essentially, let's say that you have a cargo hold that has, let's say 1,000, I changed it to SG instead of SM, so I wasn't quite ripping off Eve, and also because M doesn't really stand for anything that signifies weight. I think for CM cubed in Eve's case stands for something meters cubed, or something similar. But what essentially is going to be, it's going to be centigram SG. Which is essentially going to be, like I said, 3 tons for one of them. Since it's squared, though, it's going to be a total of 9 tons for one item if it's 1 centigram squared. So, Let's say you have a ship with a cargo hold of 1,000 SG squared. And let's say that you have 950 SG squared filled. So you have 50 SG squared left. And you're mining, and your next mining return is going to return a total amount of rock or ore that will be equal to 80 SG squared. So what this is going to do is it's going to say, okay, until 1,030 SG squared becomes 1,000 SG squared or less. That should put less than or equal to. Then we're going to take 1 off the amount. And the amount of the item, and then that'll alter the amount of space that's going to be added. And then once that is no longer true, we take this down here, and as long as you still have items, we go through this. So we say only amount, which is now the current amount that you can possibly store without going over your max space. Units of blank, whatever the name is, could not be stored. The number of items lost, units were destroyed. So in this case, you would lose, let's say, 35 units or something of unobtainium or something. And then what we do is we go through, we put in the SNV, and then we add it. Now, what I haven't considered here, but have considered back over here in game, was if the item already exists. So we have to go over here and do that, because if we're mining, chances are you're already going to have some of that item in your cargo hold. And so we don't want to add it twice, because in SC you're going to be able to infinitely stack items, whereas in EVE, well, I guess in EVE you can infinitely stack as well, as far as I know. I haven't actually tried to max out the stacks for ore, but I know there's some items that you can't stack more than a certain number of. But just for cleanliness purposes, you're going to be able to infinitely stack all the items in EVE except for ships. That includes weapons. So, or EVE on SC. Got the two confused there. So what we need to do here is we need to say, we need to make sure that we actually do not have the item already before we add it. And if we do have it, then we just want to update the amount. Yes, update the amount of items. So we want to do a for I equals 0. I believe we want to do that now. Yeah, we're not using a loop up there anymore. So we're not going to be invalidating anything, as far as I know. So I equals 0, I is less than or equal to scargo dot size I plus plus. Alright, so if I equals scargo dot size, that's how we know that's damn. This has been happening a lot lately. I'm not sure why. Things are just crashing like this. Yeah. Those should be the only ones that we need to recover, because all the other stuff was saved when I went in here to do yeah, okay, good. So what I'd done earlier was I'd actually built the the game so I could see where all the problems were at, so I can go through and fix them. Back over on ship though. Yeah, we'll just go to the bottom. Alright, so I'll have to just add that part back in. That sucks, but it's only a little bit we have to change. Alright, so for I equals 0, I is less than or equal to scargo.size I plus plus. So if I equals scargo.size, in this case this is when we would add it in, because now it's not, the item is not actually in here yet. And we'll need to do the same up here as well. Another thing we need to do, change, actually no, we did it there, it's properly done there, good. I had to change this and done at I to done at whatever that size back over in game, I believe, and that was a whole interesting process of craziness. So that else if the item name, well, let's go with the item ID. If ID equals scargo dot at I dot get I ID, then we just want to update the item, so we go scargo dot at I dot update amount, and that'll be amount and add and return true. So really, I think we could probably just copy this up here and then just reposition it as needed. One thing we need to do though is extra returning it though, so that acts as a natural break. So it doesn't really need to be need to have a break there. And then we'll just fix the tabbing here. Alright, so that should cover that. Okay, so, well, this should be fine then. If we leave off the equals, it should be fine, because then it will break this if it's equal to or greater than what this equals. So that should be fine. We didn't need that equals there anyway. So the crash actually helped me fix a problem I created. Not often that happens. It's usually the other way around. Crash makes it that you have to redo things. Let's see. So this is probably a little bit redundant to have this down here as well, or have this up here with this down here too, but we'll do it anyway. I may combine these two in a refactoring run or something eventually, but for now they'll stay where they are. So what I need to do now is, because I have no clue where all the problems are at, we're going to go ahead and build this again. Actually, we need to do a rebuild. Alright, let's see where the errors are at. Station remove item. It takes a slot now. Yeah, that's right, because I changed how it worked. I had a to-do in here somewhere. This would eventually take a number of items, and so I decided, hey, why not do it now? We're already changing a bunch of other stuff, so let's add some more changes that will potentially cause some bugs. Just because we can. Yeah, so we need to add an I amount here. In this case, just one. But in other places, it'll be more, probably. Alright, let's see. Amount is undefined. Really? Let's see. So we're storing an item. We're only buying one item at a time for right now, so we can just leave it as one. But eventually we'll add in some code to be able to buy more than one item at once. Eventually. So here's a case of where I haven't removed something that is part of that there. Let's see, max usable storage, but we got rid of the current storage. Okay. Let's see, get I amount, must have, looks like it's fine now, hasn't ship. Or wait, calculate space, so the temp space equals, equals cargo.I times get I space. Ah, okay. That should be that, but we had I space for some reason twice. That's interesting that didn't actually have a red line on it. Right. Not a member. Yes, some things that didn't change from earlier. Again, this is just these things. This is nothing as far as the logic kind of things that are going on throughout other places that we'll have to check, or check through just looking for bugs. Could have sworn I fixed some of these. Oh, this is in. No, let's see. I thought I changed these. Strange. Must have missed them now. Okay, so let's see. My slots. That's interesting. Current used. Wonder how that happened. Oh, that was for slots. Gotcha. Card use slots, which was the number of items from wherever. Okay, gotcha. So all we want is max space. ID amounts. We need to add in here. SP inventory dot at I dot ISG2 equals temp inv dot at 0. Is that really right? So this is the saved data. Temp inventory equals... Okay, yeah, so we're doing each inventory individually. Gotcha. So yeah, that is correct. Or no, it's not. That shouldn't be 0, it should be I. WTF. Because we're loading the entire inventory into temp inventory. So this should be I2. Of course, I haven't actually used the inventory yet, so that's why I hadn't found this bug. I don't make a bug report for it because we didn't actually find it in the game. Dot get I space. I'll do the same with ships here. I actually haven't added in the ship stuff yet. And this is going to have to change to a, this is going to be interesting. Because now we have to account for ships that might be stored. So we're going to have to search all the stations' inventories for ships. And we're going to store ships differently in stations, so we'll leave that part off for now. How we'll do it is we'll store them in actual station objects. Or sorry, ship vector. So we'll have the ships will have essentially they'll still be ship objects just in a ship vector inside of the station inventory. What we need to do though is we'll need to add in another inventory table for stations just for ships. So that should be interesting. Alright, so let's add in our max used cargo space. That's the only one that'll actually make it into the table here, I believe. max cargo space. We need to add that to the ship real quick here. Ship class. Alright, let's see what else. I think that'll do for that. And what we'll do is we'll tack on the inventory onto the ship for loop, which we'll put in later on, just as a point of making it easier to deal with in terms of adding things in per ship. Actually, all these things will be added that way. So actually we can just put it on the bottom of this, and that'll be fine. So player ship okay, so how we'll want to do it is we'll need to create a new vector to use here. So where is not showing? So data system H is not even open. That could be a problem. Yeah, temp, here we go. Well, no, PS So I haven't even added that in here yet, apparently, to the save load vectors. So vector so player ship cargo. Actually, we'll have to do an I2 on this one. I2 is less than mplayer dot s cargo. get it escargo. Escargo. Play on words there. Dot at dot size. Oh, we're missing ship. Gotta ship it. There we go. And I2++. So, PLS cargo dot at or dot pushback PSN PLS cargo dot at I2 dot ID equals mplayer dot ship dot escargo dot at I2 dot get IID. And just to speed things along here, I amount, get I amount, I type, get I type, and ISG2, get I size. I thought that was what it was. I space, that's it. And is that all of them? So we need to also do the SID. Just for the time being, since we don't have the other code in yet. Okay. That added that. We need to add that now to the thing down here. The call to database. Let's see, database H. Now that should fix that up. Yep. Alright, now we need to go to save data. And add that in here. And then we need to add the whole thing down here, which is annoying in and of itself. So ship cargo P ship I said invert. Yeah. Saving ship cargo. P ship. Inv. SID. IID. Actually, TID, SID, IID, I type, I amount. And then I SG2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I believe, yep. Alright, so PLS cargo size. SQL I1 equals I. So that's the table ID. SQL I4. And then SQL F1. Really? Could have sworn we had some F1s, some floats. Ah, capital F. Duh. Dirt. So that's our 6. And I forget for float how it goes. Let's see. Bind double. Okay. Also need to add that check for that flag as well. Damn. Like, so there's all these, when you have things in, you have existing things that operate to allow things to happen, and when you add stuff in, you have to modify those, and you have to modify those things, and the things that interact with those, you have to modify all those, and it cascades into an avalanche of work. And or bugs, which then causes more work. Let's go back down here. To the very bottom, and it went too far. Okay. Alright, so when we do that, we're actually adding, okay, so that's fine. We don't have to modify anything here. But over in database, during the loading section, we do. So we need to go add this also to ship. Something else for it to do. Just to add the set for it. This we're not going to update because this is a empirical value. It doesn't get modified. Stays the same no matter what. Unless, of course, you change it in the database. But within the context of the game doesn't ever change it. Change how much these things, how much space these things take up. So set SSG2 float SG2, and we'll go to the bottom here. Void ship set. And that should be good over here. And yes. Alright, so if get flag psinv equals 1. Need to write the table statement. So P I believe that's the one we want. And B errors. Apparently not. So what do we want? We want PSC. Okay, that's right. I did change it to C, didn't I? I had it set to PSI before, but then I changed it to C because cargo sounded better instead of inventory. Alright, so if no B errors, then do the count loading ship cargo data. dbds dot return psc results. And we pass through the PLS cargo. Yeah. This time we won't have to close the database for this because there's no data that we're loading from the actual database. It's all held internally. So for I2 is equal to 0. I2 is less than PLS cargo, that size. So in player dot ship dot actually, no, we want to do a kind of one into all thing here. Yeah, load cargo. I knew I had something. Crap. I knew I already had something figured out for that. Just forgot what it was. Alright, so data system dot ship load cargo. I type and I G2. And I believe that's all we need to do for that. for in terms of what actually needs to be done as far as sending stuff to other classes. Count period in here, and then count done. And then put that else in for that. Alright, that should do for that. Let's go ahead and rebuild and see what happens. See what new things pop up. Let's see, errors 3. Get nice space. Missing function argument list. Oh. Duh. And that was all having to do with that, I believe. Oh wait, here we go. SG update I slot. That's right, because we're not dealing with slots anymore, so let's get rid of that entire thing. Game.h. Anything to do with the slots can be removed. And this should open up more issues as well. Let's see. Come on, oh, there's some in here somewhere. Here we go, I slot. Alright, and rebuild. Let's see what other issues we can work out here. This is your, besides spot checking and actually going through the code and playing it and see what happens, this is your only other means of detecting issues, is actually just building the code and see, you know, what breaks essentially. It's not really the most elegant way of finding things, but it works. So, let's see, since the ship amount is tied to the number of slots, since it's not anymore, it doesn't really matter. Get current, let's see, let's go to here. Of course, now we need to change this to SG2. I'm gonna change it to 1 million. Of course, if you do that, you're going to get bugged out because there is no menu option 3. Will be blank because we actually didn't have the code to be able to calculate it, I don't think. Alright, so P choice times 500 plus M space. Alright, this is coming from game, so M space is the max space. U space is what we probably want to be using now. Essentially what this is going to become is if the number of spaces you buy still isn't enough to cover the amount of space that you need. So if plus U space, C space is less, greater than M space. So N space, so how is N space calculated? Just as space. So that's sent to here though. Find all preferences. Space. Interesting, it's not actually called from anywhere, as far as I can tell. So we added it, but it was never actually implemented. So what this will be is then it'll be the number of items times the item space. That's what that'll be. So that'll already be the amount that we need. Alright, so we have this of this. So this will almost always be underneath this, or it'll either be under or equal, never over. And so we need to say this so trying to figure this out while being slightly groggy here. Need to drink more soda. Let's see. So this n space plus c space would be greater than m space. So we need to figure out how much more m space we need to make it so that we have equal to or greater than m space c space plus n space. So this is the new space needed, current space, maximum space. We need to find out what the difference here is. So we won't use n space here. N space will be down here, maybe. Or somewhere, let me see. This could be easily done by just using c space minus m space, or rather the other way around, m minus c, which gets you the leftover space. And then we take that minus this. That's what we'll do. So so we have m space minus c space minus n space. So to walk through this here, let's say we have m space is 1,000, c space is 250, and the new space would be 900. So that would put us at 1125. So we need to find out how much space we can actually still fit. So this minus this would mean that we'd have a current space that would be able to be filled of 975, and then we do 975 minus this. That'd be interesting, because we have to figure out a way to put it so that it'd never be negative. Okay, let's actually do the calculation outside of here. Let's see, where's all those? Look at them sit down there somewhere, probably. Or not. Station. I guess we'll tack it down here somewhere. So, int, no float. Space to buy. Alright, so st by equals this minus n space. And then we'll say st by if st by is less than 0. In other words, if it's negative, then we'll just try to positive. So the total required space is 500 times st by, or no, 100 times. Okay, so it has to be st by divided by 500 times 100 Zarn. So my trusty calculator out here. So if we had 975, which would be the usable space, subtracted from the like I said, 1,100. Well, even if it's not that, we'll use that. So 125. So 125 divided by 500 times 100. Or no. So yeah, it'd be 500 into whatever ST buy is. So well, let's say ST buy though is 759. Say we're going to go 759 into 500. I'd say that it still doesn't really work that well. So we want to find out, so the way that it works is you have the 500 on the outside, and the one you're looking to find how much it's into on the other side, times so when you see divide, so it's 500 divided by 125. Now if you're going to say into 125 into 500, then that's what you would do there. But we're going to divide it by, so the 500 is on the outside, so 500 divided by 790. And I'll have to figure out the actual calculation for that, but it's essentially going to be 500 divided by or divided into or whatever this, then that times 100 to find out how much the total cost is. Or something similar like that. And that'll be what the cost is. So what we want to find out is M space minus C space. So you have M space minus C space SG squared free Alright, so return 1001, return 1002. Let's switch these places here. Okay. Let's see. So if true, then we just want to essentially I'm gonna make another P choice here. Alright, let's go back out here. Okay. Then, copy that. So if you want to buy more space, and we'll add that to P choice 1. So that one we'll keep. Let's see. Complete a purchase. Just in case we need to put that there. So again, I have no clue where this is actually called from. It's probably a function I removed, but we'll have to see where we can add it back in at. Okay, now it's called from here. That's interesting. Oh no, this was the one, SBI space. Not this one. So, player chose to buy more slots. Actually, yeah, we should do 0 on that. Instead of this. Return 0. It was probably in here, because I removed a lot of stuff from in here. I bet you anything, it was in here, the code was. I could probably bet anything that's where it was called from. Because there's a bunch of stuff I removed from here. So, this if here probably had an else somewhere. So else, so if there's not enough space, then we want to say if SBI space, and we just enter stat G M player and the amount of space required. So that would be the I guess just this for the moment. So if this returns true, then store the item. I guess we'll have to go through this though, won't we? This whole process again. Else, if that's false, then we want to call the refund. Alright, so we tied that back in now. And I think it's probably about time for a break for a while here. Gonna get some more ice so I can get more hopped up on caffeine here. And just take a quick break to work on a few other things and check on some downloads I've going on, and then we'll start back up the recording for this. And until then, this is Jewel, and I will see you later.